we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
So I've logged all the plants outside for today. It is the last day of hardening them off. I have my morning coffee, and it is time for the first garden tour of the year. It is early May, and I just wanted to take you guys around the garden and show you what is growing. If you're new around here, then hi, I'm Kiri, and on this channel we talk about all things micro homesteading, from growing indoors hydroponically to growing outdoors in the garden, and other ways that you can become more self-sufficient and less reliant on the grocery store. So let us go and have a look at what is going on. I'm going to go put my coffee down. On the stairs we have a couple of eggplants, some oregano, a smorgasbord of peppers and all different kinds of things. We have some tomatoes, lettuce. Those are potatoes I grew from seed. Over here we have a bunch more tomato seedlings. Somewhere in there there's a couple of giant crimsons, which is pretty cool. There's actually going to be a lot of changes going on in the backyard very soon. This eyesore, which used to be where a hot tub was, is going to be coming out, and we have, well, we have to mow the lawn. And we've got some brush there that's going to go into my new raised beds. The black currants are setting their blossoms. It's always one of the first things to kind of show up in the garden. We've also got the gooseberry, which is setting some flowers. Always a big argument in the house about how to say it. I stand by the fact that it is gooseberry, though the hubby always says it's gooseberry. But what does he know? I actually only planted this for my mom because she loves gooseberry jam, and so I'm going to make it for her hopefully this year, because I am seeing a lot of flowers on here, which is a great sign. This guy did come under attack last year from some caterpillars. I made up some of my homemade insecticide, which took care of them pretty quickly, so I'm just gonna have to keep an eye on it. If you would like to see the recipe, I will put a link down below to my blog post. You take care of those seedlings, Bacon. So over here we have the 3 rows. At the beginning of last year, this was just gravel, and with a little bit of cardboard, a lot of mushroom compost, and some wood chips, I basically turned it into another place to grow food. If you want to check out that video on that whole fiasco, I will link it above. This whole area here is going to be getting a revamp. There's going to be a 3rd raised bed added in here. There will be a metal bed added here, and then I'm going to be putting in 3 green stalks over there. That's going to be happening very soon. Over here we have all the arched cattle panel trellises. All the stuff from the yard has kind of been stuffed in here until the concrete slab is gone. We have my first attempt at winter sowing. This was some tatsoi. This was some spinach before the bunnies ate it, and then there are a couple of milkweeds over there. So these guys did really well. Then in here we have a whole bunch of poppies that desperately need to be transplanted, some onions, and then even some brassicas in here. So those ones did okay. A lot of the other ones did not. I have some asparagus I've started, and some horseradish I dug up. We have some hollyhocks and zinnias here. I did maybe put them out a little bit too early, and they're suffering a little bit, but they are still powering through. I have some beets that need to be transplanted, celery and celeriac, some yarrow, some strawberries. If you guys want to know how I built these arched cattle panel trellises, which I love, I will put a link up above to the video where we did that. Over in the 2 existing raised beds, in each of the corners I planted some alliums just to bring the pollinators in. We have a whole bunch of onions that overwintered. It was kind of an experiment. They actually did really well overwintering. I'm actually going to do an experiment this year, and in the fall I'm going to put all my onion seeds directly down where I'd like them to grow, and then we'll see what happens. More alliums along the edge. We have some kale and some tree seeds in here. That's all pretty much that's going on in that bed right now. We have over here the horseradish, and it is always a good idea to plant horseradish in a pot, which I did because I know that. And yet I did not put the pot onto patio stones before, and there are drainage holes in a pot, and this horseradish grew through the drainage holes and spread into my lawn, which is why I have pots over there of potted up horseradish that I dug out of my lawn. Horseradish is incredibly invasive, so you need to be really careful, which I thought I was, but not careful enough. Down here we have some companion planting. I have a whole bunch of pine berries and strawberries. If you want to know more on how to grow pine berries, I will put a link up above to my pine berry video. I also have some asparagus. So there's 4 spears. Each of those is a different plant. I started those from seed last year, and so this is year 2, so I'm not going to be able to harvest those. We're just going to let them do their thing and build up a stronger root base. But over here, we do have some asparagus that I can eat. I actually dug this up in my video last year where I was closing down the garden. I'll put a link up above to that as well. And I was seriously not sure if this was going to survive that, but it did. It took a long time. The other 4 spears over here came up way sooner, and I was really starting to get pretty sure that I had killed these guys, and then all of a sudden they just burst to life. And these ones are a more established one, so I will definitely be able to eat some of these, and I'm pretty excited about that. And down here we have the very first flower. So I can't wait. I didn't get any pine berries last year, so hopefully this year we will get some pine berries and a whole bunch of strawberries. Here we have my garlic. It is doing fantastic. We also have some more onions I overwintered, and they came back really well. All of these here are my onions that I started from seed. They're doing really amazing. They are also multi-sown, so they're in little clumps. Some of them have only a single one, other ones have more. I started trying multi-sowing last year. I'm going to do some more videos on it later on this year, but I am so far really loving it. Oh, I also have something else new over here that I'm trying for the first time. So these 3 big boys here are my elephant garlic. Elephant garlic is much bigger than regular garlic, but it also has a much milder flavor. So we'll see what happens when these grow, if I actually like it, and whether I plant it again. I had loads of onions, so there's more over here. Over in the back corner, I put in a few onion sets. Never really grown from onion sets before, so we will give that a try to see the difference. So you typically tend to get smaller bulbs from the onion sets because they are onions that grew the previous year and were picked, and then you're replanting them. You also get a lot less variety with onion sets. They're doing the ones that are most popular, so you'll typically just see like a white onion, a yellow onion, and a red onion. The next step up is onion starts. You're typically going to get a bunch of them in a little tray from the nursery. Those are great. You can just break them apart. You're going to probably get a bit more variety with the starts than you would with the sets. But if you really want to grow whatever is possible, onion seeds are the way to go. Now, it is more finicky, definitely. That's why I'm actually going to try and grow them outside for next year. So at the end of the season, I'll use my seeding square, and I will lay down all the seeds in the fall, late fall, and then we'll hope for the best and see what happens. I will probably start some from seed just in case, but if I can start them outside and not have to start them, because onion seeds you have to start really early. So I'm starting them in like January or February and trying to keep them going for a very long time. Keeping seedlings alive inside is a bit finicky. I've been doing it for a very long time, and there's still failures every year. So if I can do them outside and not worry as much, and I kind of did a trial run this year with doing it with the winter sowing. Now granted, they were protected in the containers, but we're gonna see what's possible for next year. And if it's a much easier way to grow onions, then I am all over that. So I obviously have some weeding to do because there are some dandelions there, which is not horrible. That will be food for the bees to start. But we also have some more strawberries over here. There are a couple of parsnips. They've kind of self-sown all over the place. I have a bunch of grape hyacinths, some Canterbury bells that are coming back, and then my poor little blueberry. I actually have another one over there that I just got This one's looking a little bit better. We do have some volunteer raspberries that are coming back. I'm trying to transplant them elsewhere so that I still have them, because I do not want them right here, because they are taking over. One of the things I am most excited about, and I'm going to do a whole other video on that, is my itty bitty apple tree, which is springing to life. And of course, there's like 1,000 big trucks driving around right now. Back over here on the onions, I am going to be in the middle of each row sowing some carrots, because carrots and onions are great to be interplanted. Hey, Bacon? Is that a pretty good tour? I think that's pretty good. All right, so we can't forget the side and front gardens, the grapes. We had the grapes for the very first time last year, so hopefully they will burst to life very soon. So I actually thought I had lost this rhubarb, and it has come back, so I'm happy about that. We have some more rhubarb and some mint and some more grapevines over here. This one did not give us grapes yet, but I planted it a little bit after the other one. So this was the strawberry bed, but I had dug most of them up and put them in with the asparagus. This is now going to be the raspberry bed, or so we hope. I've transplanted some of them. They were looking a little sickly, but they seem to, oh, okay, well that guy's still not looking good, but the rest of them seem to be perking up. So around front, this is where the pine berries were originally planted. There's still some here. These guys, I'm just leaving them here for right now. Once I get the green stalks set up, I will transplant the rest of these guys. That right there and that right there are the Alpine Strawberries, because pine berries need to be with strawberries as well. So we will get those into the green stalks soon. The big sage plant's coming back a little bit. The blackberries coming back to life as well. Chives, as always, prolific. Over here in the front bed, there is not too much going on. I have a potato that I planted there. That's one I actually grew from seed. We're actually going to be putting in a second tier here, so I can actually build up the soil for the potatoes. Plus, when you build a raised bed, it should not be wider than 4 feet. I know this, and yet I built this wider than 4 feet. And why shouldn't it be wider than 4 feet? Well, that is because you can only reach in, unless you're giganto arms, about 2 feet in any direction. So even the fact over there, like if this was up against something that's harder to get to, it probably should have only been 2 feet wide. But it is much bigger than that. So I'm going to put another tier here, and then what I can do, because this is a no-dig bed, I can walk on this, which is nice. So what I'll do in the beginning of the season is walk in here, plant all my potatoes in the center tier, and then as the season progresses, I will pretty much plant all my peppers around the outside, and that is how I will make the most of the silly mistake that I made. Okay guys, so that's pretty much it for the first garden tour of 2022. I really hope that you guys are as excited for this growing season as I am. I hope that you are trying something new this year in your garden, whether that's a new variety or a new technique, because you never want to stop learning in your garden. So until next time, don't forget to enjoy the little things and make food grow. Bye guys.